I think a shift in people's attitude here, and that I often call them hidden talent. There's loads of people at home that have made life choices to look after their kids. They've taken a career change, so they become a full-time carer of their children. And then historically, because of school runs, attitude to work, and the fact you've got to go to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, they probably couldn't get a job at the same pay grade or at the same level from an intellectual capacity as they could before. It'd be interesting to see, and I imagine law is probably one of these, if we think that that's going to change going forward. And is there going to be an opportunity for both businesses and employees to benefit in the future? I don't know what you think, Louise.
Yeah, I think certainly. I hope that the conversation is going to continue. It's not just going to be about remote working, but there's also going to be, a shift towards just an increased flexible work in general. So, more opportunities around flexible hours and employers looking at what the outputs are rather than time spent by employees. So it's, more of a focus on flexibility as a whole. But for me, I think, just going back to some of the other points, that there is still a really important role for the office, as Max has pointed out some of the things. So I think not having office at all could, mean that you're not going to be able to track certain aspects of the talent pool, because I think for some people, particularly, employees starting off in their career, that there are real learning experiences and benefits of being in an office space. And also having, face-to-face interaction, really does encourage collaborative working and creativity. So I think my view is that, it's all about balance, having that kind of hybrid way of working where, the general principle is, people are in the office 2 or 3 days a week, but that may need to be tailored depending on an individual's personal circumstances. So as you've said, John, if they've got childcare commitments, it may be that the employer decides that if they put in a flexible working request, that they can work more from home than the general principle that applies to the organisation.
I think, and I know Matt feels the same on this, is you only have to travel in London. I understand that the work is broken from a time point of view. If you think about the time that was probably invented in the factories in the Industrial Revolution, of turn up at this time, do your shift, don't think too much, do your work, go home, don't think about work when you're at home. It's very sort of practical, low skilled. Whereas now we've got super high skilled, super qualified people, but we're still sort of treating them in the same way. Turn up at this time, sit there and go home at this time. And actually, I think we should be maybe taking a different view on this. I don't know what you think, Matt.
Well, I just think it goes back to the root again, doesn't it? Which is payment and how you reward people. So if you take a law firm, I would rather pay a lawyer £10,000 to fix the problem in 2 minutes than pay £5,000 for them to fix it over 6 weeks. So I know I'm exaggerating here, like the scenario. But I used to have the same challenge in 4Ps in the agency model, which is if my team did things quicker and more efficiently, it means we would get paid less. So, so there's a real challenge around this. And I hope that ultimately it's the rise of the lazy people, because if you want to figure out how to do something really well, ask a really lazy person, because they'll just tell you how to shortcut it and develop things in that way. So I think it goes back to what Louise was talking about. For me, it's the step on from flexibility is outcome, which is if you're just judging people on the shit that they can get done, then that's all that really matters, doesn't it? Like one of my team asked me the other day, she said, can I work from America for 3 months? So I was just so confused by the question, because she's just sitting in this little thing as far as I'm concerned. Like I haven't seen her for a year, like I don't really care. She's like, she works in the sales team, and fundamentally sales does come down to the numbers. So it doesn't I want her to do it in the right way and so on and so on. But if she delivers her numbers, I really don't care.
Yeah, I think everybody's got to change their attitude towards, and I suppose it's interesting what you said is, how is it the employers that need to change, or is it the employees that need to start almost demanding that change or expecting that? And are certain companies, so people like Salesforce and big high-profile brand companies that are saying, right, we're remote first, is that going to shift people's perception on what is acceptable?